Hi, I'm Emma from Studio 77 and today I'm going to show you how to make this tote bag. It makes a perfect beginner project, it's simple and quick to make, and I'm going to take you through it step by step. So here's what you're going to need. You're going to need scissors, of course, and some pins and thread to match your chosen fabric. Now you need to cut a large rectangle. As you can see, I've folded this with right sides facing, ready to sew. And this needs to measure 34 inches all the way along the top and 14.5 inches along the short side. You're also going to need 2 straps. Each one of these needs to measure 23 inches along the top and they need to be 4 inches wide. And as I say, we need 2 of those. Now once you've cut your straps, we're going to press them so they're ready to be sewn. So you need to fold it along the long side, fold it in half and press. And then when you've done that, we need to open it up and fold each side in to meet that central crease and press. When you've done that, you then need to fold it back in along that central crease again and press just to make sure it's all nicely pressed and stays together. Then we're going to go over to our machine and start sewing. So we're going to start with our straps. You need to make sure you've got the bobbin and the main thread spool in the right colour, and then you're just going to sew along the open edge that you've just pressed. Now you can place your pins in either way. I like to place mine so that they're a 90 degrees angle to the fabric, but you can also place them this way so that they're following the edge of the fabric. And obviously if you place them going along the edge of the fabric, you need to take them out as you sew, but if you place them in at a 90-degree angle like this, which is how I like to do it, you can just sew straight over your pins without taking them out. Some machines like you to hold the thread at the back, so you might need to do that, so just check to see how your machine behaves. If it loops and doesn't stitch very nicely, this could be the problem. And then you just need to sew all the way along that strap. At the end you need to go back and forwards with the stitching just to secure your stitch. Pull the fabric out and snip the ends of the threads close to your fabric. The next thing you need to do is you need to sew along the other edge of your strap just to make it all really stable and to make the look cohesive as well. So to start again, we go backwards and forwards to secure the stitch and then sew all the way along that edge. So the person that I'm making these bags for wanted to have a label on the front. So to do this, I've just used an iron-on printer paper. So I've printed out the label, ironed it onto the front of the bag, and I'm now doing a small zigzag around the edge of the label just to secure it in place and make it look neater. I'm using a small zigzag which is about a 2 in width and about a 0.4 in length. And to finish off this zigzag, you can either go backwards and forwards like before, or you can use a secure locking stitch if your machine has it. This isn't as strong as a backwards and forwards stitch, but it looks neater when you're doing applique. So I've sewed my label on and now it's ready to sew up the actual bag. So you want to fold right sides in together, and then you want to pin along the top edge and the bottom edge. Then you want to sew with a press a foot's width from the edge, making sure you're on the right stitch, which is just a regular running stitch. Hold the threads at the back before you sew, forwards, backwards. Exactly the same on the other side. And then take the pins out. Cut off any stray pins. And then you can turn the bag the right way out. Make sure you've got nice neat corners. You can use your scissors to just gently tease out that corner if it's not behaving. Now, if you weren't going to line your bag, this is the time when you could just simply roll over the edge, like so, and you could stitch along that edge and then jump to when you're putting the stage where you're putting the straps in. But we're going to line it. So for the lining, you need to cut another rectangle. This is obviously, this one is folded over, and it needs to measure 14.5 inches along the short edge and 30 inches along the long edge, which is 4 inches shorter than the main bag. Right sides together, just like we did for the outside of the bag, and exactly the same, you just pin those two edges together so you've got the fold one end and the opening of the bag the other end. So you pin those together in the same way, and then you stitch along those two edges. Take out the pins, cut off any loose ends, now you don't need to turn this the right way out, because it kind of is the right way, because obviously that's the inside of your bag. So then you want to get the outside of your bag, and you want to pop the lining inside. By placing your hands inside, you can kind of feel where the two corners are and match them up. Then you want to line up your seams inside. Make sure it's all nice and flat together. And bunching. Then we want to hem the top of our bag. So to do this, we're going to fold it over so that that is an inch there, which will be to the top of your lining. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to mark that on the right side of your fabric. And then to make your life a lot easier, we're going to press that. So now we need to press that hem edge down. So we've got our 1 inch marker. And then you just fold it down again. Push that lining out the way while you're pressing. You don't need to measure that again. You can if you want. It's a bit wider. It's not the end of the world. While you're at the ironing board, you may as well press all the seams, so that your bag looks really neat and tidy. Now to finish off the bag, we just need to stitch along that top edge and put in our straps. So make sure again there are no loose ends. Now you just need to put the lining underneath that hemmed edge and then place some pins in to secure it for stitching. And then you want to place your straps in the right place. So fold your bag in half, seams together, and find the middle of each side. Put a little pin. So you want to have your straps about 4 inches apart, so 2 inches either side of that pin, central pin marker. So 4 inches. Sometimes I mark with pins and sometimes I mark with chalk, depending on the fabric and for speed. So place your strap alongside the edge of your pin on the inside, and you'll want to tuck that underneath so that it butts up against the top, right up against the top, but when you do your stitching it catches both top and bottom. Fold it and place a pin in, like so, and then do the same on the other side. just make sure your pin goes all the way through. That pin I've just put in didn't, so I'm just re-pinning it so that it catches through all the layers of fabric, because you've got quite a few layers there. I'm going to take out those central pins. That one I'm keeping in because that's also holding the hem in. And take that one out. And now we're going to sew along the very top edge and the very top bottom edge. I'm going to do the bottom edge, sewing it from the inside so that I can see that bottom edge, see where everything is. I'm starting from one of the seam sides, doesn't matter which, and I'm going to sew it quite close to that edge. There's my edge there, a bit hard to see on the black fabric. When I sew, to get a nice even line, you can either watch this edge with your eyes, or you can watch that edge and the needle distance to it. Now when I get to a strap, just have to be careful that it's all encased. So stitching. Then you're going to want to sew along that top edge. So I'm going back to start at the seam. Take out all the pins. And then the final thing that you want to do is going to sew a cross and a box on each strap end. This just makes it even more secure. It's added security and strength on those straps, and it gives you a really nice finish. So we're doing it again from the inside so that you can see where your previous stitches are, because we're going to go over those slightly.
Finally, we need to stitch around the top of the bag just to secure those straps into place and to finish the look of the bag.
So you want to make sure you've sewn around all 4 ends of your straps.
And that's it, you've finished your bag. Thanks so much for watching this tutorial. I hope you've loved making the bag. Please do stay tuned to the Studio 77 YouTube channel. You can do so by hitting the subscribe button to be notified of new tutorials, and I'll see you again soon.